Hey guys, this is Daryl. Thanks for coming back to Louisiana Simple Living. We're back in the kitchen. Today I'm going to make something to be a great treat I'm making it for, of course, for Christmas Eve and Christmas dinner. And then we'll hopefully have some left over for New Year's. Something you can try as well at your kitchen. It's a Cajun meat and cornbread dressing. It's outstanding, out of this world. The recipe originally came from Nina Reward Davis, who is my grandmother-in-law from Breaux Bridge. Got passed down to my wife's mom, Gwen Davis, Crouch, and then I made a little twist on the recipe. If you can see the ingredients in front of me, you got some crawfish. Now, most importantly, this is Louisiana crawfish. You don't get the kind that comes from China or anything like that. It doesn't taste near as good. You got just a plain cornbread, not a sweet cornbread, just a plain cornbread mix. You got two packs of the Savoy's dressing mix. You got 2 big containers of Guidry's fresh cuts. It's the seasoning mix, but it's onions, a little parsley, bell pepper, garlic, and celery. A couple pounds of hamburger meat, and some chicken broth that we use to try to make sure we got the consistency just right. Alright, so the first step is I'll go ahead and make the cornbread, throw that in the oven. Then once we're ready to mix everything together, we'll use that cornbread, will crumble up into the dressing mix. Alright, I got the cornbread ready. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the oven. We'll be back in 15-20 minutes. Alright, got the cornbread. I'm going to set it here, let it cool down a little bit. Alright, next step is go ahead and brown the ground meat. Looking at 2 pounds here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and break up this ground meat, get it brown. 2 pounds, could be 80-20, 85-15, 90-10, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we'll go ahead and brown the ground meat. Not all rocket science for this part of the cooking. Got a little gumbo I cooked yesterday. Heating it back up good, and I'm gonna throw some chicken in it, but that's a different recipe, different video. Alright, the hamburger meat's pretty much cooked up. What you want to do is take it off, put it on the colander, and drain it. I'll do that and be right back. Alright, we've drained all the grease off the hamburger meat. And that's 2 pounds again, just brown. Drain it in the colander. Alright, so we're going to add the vegetables. This is Guidry's Creole seasoning. If you saw, I was in a digital Christmas card for the company I'm with. And it calls for, I wrote in the recipe, Guidry's fresh cuts, Creole seasoning. What that means, it's all the onion, the garlic, the celery, the bell pepper, and a little parsley. So I'm going to go ahead and add both of these in the digital Christmas card. Now I will say it can be misinterpreted. We're not going to add this Creole seasoning and all the vegetables that we have listed below it. The point was, if you're not from around Louisiana, or at least in the South, you may not find that kind of seasoning mix or vegetable mix. So I wanted to go ahead and include that in the recipe as an alternative. I think maybe when the recipe got printed up, it could be perceived that you were asking for both of these, and it's not. It's just one. So all we want to do is brown this. We added our vegetables. We added our seasoning. Alright, so we got the hamburger meat. Once we drain it, we put it back in the pan, and then we added the 2 containers of Guidry's Creole seasoning. It's kind of the trinity of Cajun cooking with a few extra thrown in. But anyhow, so we're getting the vegetables soft. Next up, we'll actually be putting in the Savoy's dressing mix. Next step is we'll add in the Savoy's dressing mix. So you want 2 containers. These are 16 ounce, so 2 pounds of the dressing mix. And this is all the good things that go into things like boudin and Cajun cooking. So this is some really good stuff. Oh man, let me tell you, you could smell it now. Whew, smells good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add in the crawfish. These are peeled Louisiana crawfish tails. This is from Rouse's, and it's packaged or distributed out of Thibodaux, Louisiana. It's so important to emphasize, get Louisiana crawfish. If it doesn't say that, it's probably going to come from China, and the taste is absolutely 100% different. The taste is horrible from China. Sounds crazy. But if you can, get Louisiana tails. We're going to add this right in. And the one little tweak that I made to it was adding the crawfish. Gigi, or my grandmother-in-law, she always used to ground meat and the dressing mix. And I decided a couple times ago to try some crawfish in here with it too. I thought it'd be good. I'm gonna tell you what, it's pretty good. So it's optional, but that's the way I usually cook it, is with the crawfish. Alright, we add the crawfish tails, and all we're going to do is we're going to cook it up for about 10 minutes or so, making sure everything gets heated up, gets cooked, flavor starts kind of coming together. Then we'll throw it in the oven after we mix the cornbread, the dried crumbled cornbread in with it. And I mean, tell you, you cook it for, you actually cook it for 20 to 40 minutes. You just kind of keep an eye on it. You want the consistency to not having the fluid pooling on the top. Once it gets there, it's going to brown a little bit on the top, and then you're good to go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and transfer. This is the ground beef, the seasoning mix, the crawfish, and the dressing mix. Transfer that over to this bowl so I can bring it over to the bring it over on the counter and be able to work with it over there. Alright, so we got everything cooked up. Next step is we got to take the cornbread that we cooked a little while ago. All we got to do is crumble it over the top. Then we'll mix it in good. Alright, next step is going to just mix all this cornbread in here. Alright, so add a little bit of chicken broth. You don't want to make it too wet, or you don't want to have it too dry. You have to cook it a few times just to kind of get it down to where you think it should be. But you can add up to a half a cup. And you don't want it too wet again, because you have to cook it longer. But I tell you what, after you cook it once, I guarantee you, you're going to cook it a couple times. People are going to be asking you for it. All we got to do is transfer it over into these pans. Then we'll be ready to throw it in the oven. We'll throw it in the oven at 375 for 20 to 40 minutes. Again, it just kind of depends upon how moist it is and how long it takes to kind of get the moisture out, and it dries. It doesn't completely get the moisture out, but you want it to kind of, you don't want the moisture all pulled up. And there's one pan. We're going to speed this up. I'm going to pour the rest of it in this one. Alright, so we're going to pour the rest of it in this one. I got two pans of this Cajun meat and cornbread dressing. Yeah, it's ready to go in the oven at 375 for 20 to 40 minutes. We'll take a look at it after 20 minutes, see how the moisture is, and see if that's good. Otherwise, we'll cook it a little bit more. I just threw it in the oven at 375. We'll do it for 20 to 40 minutes. I can set the timer. It's already looking good. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled it out of the oven. As you can tell, there's not liquid pulled up on the top, so it's not too wet, it's just right. It's browned a little bit on top. Let me go pull the other one out of the oven. There you go. And that's what you got. Cajun meat and cornbread dressing. Very simple recipe, but yet great taste. You basically got all these flavors working together, from the ground meat, from the dressing mix, from the crawfish, and from the cornbread, and a little bit of chicken broth. All that combined can do nothing but be, incredibly delicious. I'm making this for Christmas Eve, and I got another, got 2 pans here, and I got one for tomorrow for Christmas. It's probably a little late for you if you see this video to make something for Christmas, but man, New Year's get together with families, I can guarantee if you cook it, they're gonna like it, and they're gonna want you to bring it back again, time and time again. So hey, appreciate you coming, checking out what we're doing today over at Louisiana Simple Living. Make memories. Christmas, New Year's, no better time than to do that. I know we got COVID going on, but we can do it safely, and that's what we intend to do. But you gotta make memories. I guarantee if you try out this Cajun meat and cornbread dressing, you're gonna make some memories, because people are gonna be asking you to bring it back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here before, hey, good to see you again. If you haven't subscribed as yet, please subscribe, like the video, and ring that notification bell. And as always, I'll see you on the next video.